in South Africa.
Carter is leading a group that will make sure the elections are free and fair. If Carter does go, it will be his second diplomatic effort in 2 weeks. Larry Woods reports on Carter's work with Ethiopians.
We do not know her name, but we do know that she is typical of the countless victims left starving and homeless as a result of the 28-year-old civil war in Ethiopia. Eritrean rebels and soldiers of the Soviet-backed Ethiopian government have been fighting for decades. At the center of the war is Eritrea's demands for independence and Ethiopia's refusal to bargain away its most northern territorial province. But in Atlanta, Georgia, former President Jimmy Carter has managed to convene preliminary peace talks between the two warring factions in what is being referred to as Track 2 diplomacy.
And the very informality of it allows the parties to get away from thinking that everything they say is a demand or a position that has to be defended, and rather do some creative thinking.
Representatives from both sides, along with Carter and members of the International Negotiation Network, are conducting their talks in private. And when he formally introduced the key players attending the peace talks, it appeared each side was willing to negotiate their differences in good faith. Observers say that Carter, despite his various problems while President of the United States, is slowly emerging in recent years as a most effective and active ambassador of goodwill. Much of his reputation as one devoted to peacekeeping endeavors was earned achieving the historic Camp David Peace Accords in 1978. Carter says some of the principles he used then as a third party will no doubt be used in trying to resolve the fighting in Ethiopia.
The first problem is not to figure out the right solution, but to figure out the conditions under which they're willing to do a joint problem-solving exercise.
Atlanta Mayor Andrew Young, who is highly regarded in Strife-torn Africa and who is privately monitoring the talks, is optimistic about the possibility of more formal talks later on.
Everybody understands that the name of the game nowadays is economic development. And those countries that have been involved in wasting resources on death and destruction are all floundering. The accumulated wisdom of humankind says that violence is not the way.
Of course, this is the most ambitious international peacekeeper role Mr. Carter has thrust himself into since leaving the White House. Some say, what if he fails? Mr. Carter's answer is, given the opportunity, it would be unthinkable not to try. Larry Woods, CNN.
Talks underway in Atlanta says the two sides have agreed on some agenda items for future negotiations. Ethiopia's government and the rebels have been fighting for 28 years over the independence of the province of Eritrea. Carter says the possibility of a ceasefire may be discussed this week.